stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good evening. I'd like to thank VFW Post 295 for the presentation of colors and Jim Detloff and the concert choir for singing the national anthem. Nice job. Before I let them sit down, how about a round of applause for the class of 2003? Don't they look great tonight? Yeah. Graduates, please be seated. School Board Chair Hagerty, Superintendent Baldry, seniors, parents, relatives, and friends of the seniors, I'd like to welcome you to the 96th commencement exercise of South St. Paul High School. You know, when we were out practicing this afternoon, we had a little bit of sun, a few clouds. But Stan Stelter, one of our custodians, promised me, he said, you know what, Chris, don't worry about it. You might see some clouds, but the sun will be out by the end of the graduation ceremony. I said, Stan, I'll take that bet. I'm getting a little worried. The longer we went, the more worried I got. We were pretty close to pulling this thing inside, and it's these kids out here that were probably the loudest voice saying, have faith, Mr. Lennox, have faith. We'll be outside. So thank them and Stan, the weather prognosticator, for being here this evening. As we begin our ceremony, I'd like to take the opportunity to recognize some important guests. In the audience tonight are guests who have come from many different places to celebrate this important event with our seniors. It is their guidance that has nurtured each of our seniors' successes. Would all parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents please stand? Let's give them a round of applause. It is their beginnings and instruction that have helped our seniors grow and mature, and we thank them. I'd also like to introduce some other guests who will be participating in our ceremony this evening. Each of these people has made a difference in the education of our seniors. As I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Our district retirees this year, Miss Betty Oman, Miss Mary Cedarstrom, Miss Marion Berglund, Miss Evelyn Klein. Our department representatives, Ms. Kay Hoskins, Miss Lori Peterson, Mr. Dave Wolf, Mr. Chris Bakken, Mr. Matt Sattler, Mr. Jim Detloff, Mr. Reed Siegling, Ms. Katie Ellis, Mr. Chad Sexauer, Mr. Frank Asleason, Ms. Seal McDonald, and our school board members, Ms. Deborah Clark, Ms. Maggie Duty, Ms. Kay Erickson, Ms. Wendy Felton, Ms. Shelley Forrester, and Mr. Todd Podgorski. And seated on the stage this evening, our school board chairman, Mr. Bruce Hagerty, Superintendent, Mr. Kent Baldry, our distinguished graduate, our governor, Mr. Tim Pawlenty. Our honorary graduate, Mr. Vern Fernander, and high school administrators, Mr. Tim Ditburner, Mr. Mike Funk, and Ms. Kathleen Johnson. These fine people represent just some of the many teachers and staff members who have touched the lives of our graduates. Seniors and I would like to thank you very much. Let's give these folks a round of applause. High school graduation is an exciting time. It's a time of change. As graduates, you come to tonight's ceremony having completed this stage of your formal education. Our community has gathered here this evening to celebrate both the culmination of your high school education as well as the symbolism of your movement into your adult lives. We want to congratulate each of you on your accomplishments and wish you well as you leave South St. Paul High School and prepare to move forward on your own. You are a great group of young men and women, and I know that the opportunities that await you will be limited only by what you can imagine for yourselves. I want you to know that I imagine great things for you, and I know that many of you will make a difference in this world. How can I be so sure? It's easy, because I believe in each and every one of you. But I want you to understand that your families, your friends, and the community that's gathered here with you tonight also believe in you. You are talented, you are hardworking, but probably most important to us, you're South St. Paul Packers. Our heritage and tradition of this school and community are well established. And tonight, you also become part of that tradition. I know you will make us proud. I'd ask that all of you join with me in showing our support for the class of 2003. I now have the honor of recognizing and presenting to you the valedictorian and salutatorian for the class of 2003. As I call your name, I'm going to ask that you come forward to the stage to receive a medallion in recognition of your accomplishment. Our salutatorian this year, with a GPA of 4.143, is Ms. Shauna Casey. Shauna's parents are Sean and Tamla Casey. Shauna, if you'd come forward, we'll present you with your medallion. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our valedictorian for the class of 2003. With a GPA of 4.166, Miss Amanda French.
Thank you, Mr. Lennox. The tradition of having the valedictorian and salutatorian address the year's graduating class seems to be based upon a rather dubious assumption that they have something of value to say. However, since we do not feel that our class ranks give us any special insight, we decided to turn to the two greatest sources of knowledge we know, our teachers and fortune cookies. Accordingly, we asked a number of high school faculty members to answer a simple question. If you were to write a fortune cookie for the class of 2003, what would it say? Their responses and, where needed, our interpretations are as follows.
Our first fortune cookie comes from Ms. Tonda, the language arts teacher. With characteristic humor, she advises us to live your life like a Walt Disney movie, full of fun, adventure, romance, and some really corny jokes. Her fortune cookie, like her class, reminds us to never forget the light side of life, and that having fun is just as important as the serious pursuit of one's goals.
Mr. McLaughlin, the IB art teacher, gave this advice: embrace love, for even the universe will extinguish. After some thought, we deciphered Mr. McLaughlin's words to mean that, out of all the things one can acquire in life, love is the most important, the only one that never lose sight of human connections that are the most fundamental part of existence.
Ms. Shar Dierberger, a longtime member of the administrative staff, counsels us to try not to want to have everything and do everything right now. Go slow and take time to enjoy the small things that happen daily. This applies especially to us as we leave the protection of our parents and enter the real world at last. We will be presented with multiple opportunities and experiences, and for some, there might be the temptation to reach out and seize them all at once. But this advice urges us to slow down and take the time to appreciate every moment fully, whether it contains a startling new adventure or just a normal routine.
Mr. Swenson, who teaches many classes ranging from IB trigonometry to astronomy, wrote that, "You will find happiness in life by approaching life and the people you encounter with a positive attitude and a forgiving spirit." This is consistent with Mr. Swenson's own conduct in the classroom, where he is always encouraging and insistent that his students keep it positive. Mr. Swenson's actions and words tell us to remember, even during difficult times, that the glass is always half full.
Mr. Craning, the teacher of both language arts and theory of knowledge courses, gives us a simple piece of advice with a profound explanation: love life and live love. He elaborates on this brief statement, telling us that now that you have finished high school, if you want to be a lifelong learner, if you want to be truly educated, never be satisfied with the programmed and canned answers that our materially and technologically advanced society seems so eager to sell you. Bogus answers like, whoever ends up with the most toys wins. Instead, get in the habit of asking yourself the good questions, the big and important questions. Questions like, who am I? Why am I here? How can I fill each moment with love? Society, with all of its technology, can't help you with these. These fundamental questions, and others like them, form the curriculum of life. If you humbly and persistently ask them in your deepest heart and soul, you'll get answers you can trust. It's the best way to love life and live love. Accept no substitutes.
The last piece of advice comes from Mr. Nelson, the IB history teacher. His wish for us is, may you see the forest through the trees. This is especially appropriate coming from a social studies teacher, as it reminds us to see our lives as a small part in the larger context of history. We live in extraordinary times, times of change. As members of a democratic society, it is our responsibility to seek a deeper understanding of the current situation so that we can make responsible choices. As always, Mr. Nelson gives us a lesson not merely about the past, but the future and our part in it.
At the beginning of our search for the perfect speech, we felt woefully inadequate for the task appointed to us. Now, after receiving the preceding bits of wisdom and sharing them with you, we've realized that searching for knowledge teaches as much as finding it. Your interpretations of these fortune cookies may differ from ours, but that's a good thing. The thought process itself is valuable. May you use what we've collected to start a collection of cookies that will enable you to shape your own good fortune. Congratulations.
Thank you, Amanda and Shauna. Congratulations again to both of you and your parents. In addition to our valedictorian and salutatorian, students who are wearing gold tassels are members of the National Honor Society. Students wearing a gold sash are International Baccalaureate Diploma candidates. Students wearing gold cords are International Baccalaureate Honor students, and students wearing a white sash are in the top 15% of their class and are graduating with honors. At this time, I'd like to ask Jim Sherman, class of 2003, to come forward. Jim will be playing a musical selection this evening on the bagpipes. Jim? Thank you, Jim. I would now like to introduce Mr. Kent Baldry, Superintendent of Schools, who will be presenting our Honorary Diploma and Distinguished Graduate Awards. Kent?
First of all, I would like to personally congratulate all the seniors this evening for all you've accomplished here at South St. Paul. I've enjoyed watching you in the many activities and even in the hallways. Good luck to you and Godspeed. The South St. Paul Public School District proudly presents two awards this evening. The Distinguished Graduate Award is given to a past graduate who has made significant contributions to the community and school district. Honorary diplomas are awarded for exemplary service to the school district and community to a deserving person who has not graduated from South St. Paul. Vernon Finlander, I knew I was going to say that. Finander has been selected as South St. Paul's High School 2003 honorary graduate for his continued support for the public education in our community. Vern graduated from Hamline University with a BA in math and physics. He then went on to graduate with his MA from the College of St. Thomas. Vern taught mathematics, physics, and IB physics for South St. Paul Public Schools for 31 years. A former student told me that she vividly remembers his reasoning for math. Pause. A former student told me that she vividly remembers his reasoning for math. He said, "Math is money." Vern's dedication and commitment to our students did not stop in the classroom. He spent countless hours coaching track and football for over 25 years. Not only did Vern teach and coach our children, he was a mentor to them both inside and outside of the classroom. In talking with some of Vern's former students who are now currently employees of our district, they expressed their sincere appreciation of Vern because he was so instrumental in developing female shot and discus throwers for the track team. "Eureka!" he would shout in his excitement as they made a successful throw. Vern also upheld his obligations to his colleagues by serving as the president of the South St. Paul Teachers Union. Vern's colleagues have used words like loyal, dedicated, and simply wonderful to describe him. When we asked Vern what it meant to him to be selected as a 2003 honorary graduate for South St. Paul Public Schools, he said, "It is a very special honor. I must have made an impact on my students and left a mark in the community. It makes me feel very humble and appreciative." Vern, you have touched the lives of so many people in South St. Paul. On behalf of the South St. Paul Public Schools, Board of Education, administration, and staff, and the graduating class of 2003, I would like to congratulate you on this honor and thank you for your devotion to the education of our children. Vern, we have a small token of our appreciation and a plaque here, and I'm going to stand to the side here as you would like to make a few comments, as I understand, correct?
Well, I'd like to acknowledge, thank you, my wife, Donna May, 1950 graduate, and Lauren, 1982. Want to stand up? Brian, 1983, and Kevin, 1988. I am deeply honored to receive this award. As was mentioned, it means a great deal to me, and I accept, I was accepted into your community. I also like to mention some of my family members, which I did. Okay, I enjoy teaching in this fine community. South St. Paul has been the only school system I have taught in. There have been excellent teachers, coaches, students, parents, and administrators to work with. I have been active in the Educational Foundation, scholarships, the Teachers Union, as was mentioned, and the Teachers Credit Union. Somebody already mentioned the forest. I had one here for the forest. Sometimes you can't see the forest because of the trees. You know, if it's green and wiggles, it's biology. If it smells, it's chemistry. And if it doesn't work, it's physics. One more comment to Mr. Lalaberty. He's always telling me, "Oh, Eureka." And I must have said it a couple times in class. So I won't say anything more there. You know, a solution or a problem or a generalization or the forest. Sometimes you can't come to grips with it. Sometimes it's unattainable, but set it aside for a while. The brain is a wonderful instrument. It can work on it even if you're not aware of it. May you have many eurekas, and God bless you and on your way, and have a good summer. Thanks.
I thought I might make the governor feel a little more at home tonight. He has brothers, as I do, and this seems to be maybe an icon or a trademark of his, so I thought I'd start out making some remarks with these. You might remember this from his hockey playing episode earlier this year. Unfortunately, I can't read with these. They might be good for playing hockey, but I can't read a thing. But I hope he feels at home with these glasses on, and your brothers. It is my pleasure to present this year's Distinguished Graduate Award to Governor Tim Pawlenty. It is really an honor to welcome a governor with South St. Paul ties. Governor Pawlenty joins former Governors Stassen and Levander, who are members of the South St. Paul community and served the great state of Minnesota. Governor Pawlenty graduated from South St. Paul Public Schools and then graduated from the University of Minnesota. The governor and his wife Mary and 2 children reside in the city of Eagan. The governor began his public service career as a member of the Eagan City Council. He was then elected to the House of Representatives, where he served for over a decade. The governor is nearly halfway through the first year of his term in what many would say has been a very difficult 6 months. Each year, the South St. Paul Public School System bestows a Distinguished Graduate Award on someone who certainly has achieved significance in our community or state. The Distinguished Graduate Award has a long-standing tradition for our school system, and having Governor Pawlenty receive this award tonight is an outstanding honor for our school district and community. On behalf of the South St. Paul Public Schools, Board of Education, administration, staff, and the graduating class of 2003, I would like to thank the governor for honoring us with his presence tonight. Please join me in welcoming the governor of the great state of Minnesota, the Honorable Tim Pawlenty. This for you. Set that aside. You can just hold that.
Well, maybe I will use these here after all, but well, as always, it is great to be in my hometown of South St. Paul. When I was a student here, I played some soccer on this very field. At the time, Doug Woog was the coach of both the varsity hockey team and the varsity soccer team. When we lost, which was often, he made us run laps on this field and up this hill over here and through that tunnel and on the practice field over there. I often wonder if the girls varsity hockey team has to run laps when they lose. I guess no one would know the answer to that because they never lose. But Vern Fernandez is here, and he was a math teacher when I was in high school. I had one class from him. I think if I would have had more classes from Mr. Fernandez, he was a great teacher, maybe we wouldn't have this budget deficit that we've got. My dad, who passed away not too long ago, said, "Who you are depends in part upon where you come from." As you know, we are all products of our upbringing. We are all products of the experiences that we have in life, in our youths, in high school, and beyond. And our own small lives and our own small towns and our own experiences mold and shape and help define who we are. I want to speak to you tonight as a Packer who happens to be governor, not a governor who happens to be a Packer. That may seem like a strange lens or perspective to offer you. I particularly speak to the graduates tonight. However, I think the label Packer says a great deal not only about my life and the forces that shaped it in its early years, but also the forces that shape our school, this community, the history and character and values of this town, and the people that you are and that you have become. And you won't even fully understand some of the lessons and values that have been embedded here in you until a bit later in life, when you have a chance to look back on it and reflect. But I would suggest it has already shaped your life, and you'll continue to see it and appreciate it as the years unfold. Many other communities, many other school districts have as their names things like hornets or bears or bees or tigers or stuff like that, and those are fine names. But they really don't reflect much about the school or the community or the history or the roots or the character or the flavor of the community. They're just names that get slapped on for a mascot or for a label. The word Packer may seem strange at first because you see a cow skating around down at Wakota or jumping around out on the field, and you think, what is that all about? And many of you know the history of this town, but if you don't, it's worth learning. And if you know it and you have a chance to pass it on to the next generation, it's worth telling. This is a town, as you know, that was built upon the hard work and sweat of some folks who worked down at the stockyards not far from here, just over this hill and a few blocks down. At one time, it was the world's largest stockyards. It's also the home of the world's largest meatpacking plants. These are operations that dominated this town economically, culturally, in a lot of different ways. And you might listen to that and say, well, what difference does that make? You know, why are we proud of that? How did that shape our community? One of the ways it shaped our community is if you're working for a living in the stockyards or the meatpacking plants, you work hard. And you understand some challenges in life and that things don't come too easy. And I remember South St. Paul, and I still believe this town to be a place where there's great people. There's a strong emphasis on families. There's a strong emphasis on neighbors and neighborhoods, neighbors helping neighbors. People play together. People pray together. There's a sense of community here. There's a sense of community pride, community roots, community tradition, community history. It's also a place where, even though we sometimes have modest means in South St. Paul, it's a community and a town that has historically supported education. This is a town where people of modest means consistently came out and supported education because they wanted a better future for their kids and their grandkids. It's made our community, this community, strong over the years. That tradition needs to continue. There's a lot of good things about this town. There's a lot of good things about the gift of the tradition that you've received because you grew up here, you're brought up here. But in life outside of here and beyond, there's trends away from a lot of those things that I just mentioned. People are seeking life in high-definition color. They want to live just the peak experiences, and those are good things to shoot for. You know, people come to events like this, and they talk to each other about their dreams and their hopes in life, and a lot of times you hear discussions about winning. You hear discussions about how much money people are going to make and some of the great positions or careers that they're going to have. And those are wonderful things. Those are exciting things. Those are things of great hope and joy. But I also want to tell you that those aren't the things where you find meaning in life. That the meaning of life isn't often found on the peaks of those mountains. It's not usually found in those high-definition moments. You know, as governor, I have a chance now to live in a big house. I get driven around in these black cars with blacked-out windows in the back, and been to the White House for state dinners and get to meet a lot of very interesting people. And I'd share that not to brag, but to tell you that isn't what it's about. You know, that isn't what it's about. There's a lot of people who've done studies on lottery winners, people who've gone out and bought lottery tickets and won the jackpot. And there's a lot of evidence to show that about 6 months or 12 months after you win the lottery, your happiness level is no different than what it was before you won. In other words, people's makeup, their experiences in life, what defines them, what molds them and shapes them is what defines their happiness level, their perspective, their outlook on life. It isn't the money, it isn't the lottery. So I would suggest to you that I hope your life is all high-definition moments. I hope it's all peak experiences. But I suspect for many of you those times will come, those moments will come, those intersections will come in life where there's going to be a trial, there's going to be a challenge, there's going to be some difficulties, there's going to be a loss. And then you have to experience some of the tough things in life. And that's where you learn about vulnerability. That's where you learn about being honest with other people and yourself. That's where you learn a lot about love and forgiveness and coming together. You might learn about faith in those circumstances. When I grew up here in South St. Paul, my mom died when I was relatively young. My dad lost his job not long after that. I went out to the University of Minnesota, and as the youngest of 5 kids in my family, I was the only one who was able to go and complete college. And then from there on, I had to scrap for a lot of things. And I share that again, not to give you a woe is me story, but to tell you the reason I succeeded is because of the roots that I had in this town, in South St. Paul. And there's a lot of people who will tell you, you know, you maybe don't have all the advantages. We don't have a lot of the extra things that maybe some other communities have, but you've got riches beyond what you even know because of the way that this community functions and the way that they rally around each other. The lessons that are taught here by your parents, by the community, by the school, they have prepared you well for the life hurdles that will come, and they'll make you stronger. There's a story about, not a story, a true story about a break-in in a California appliance store. Happened some time ago where these robbers busted into the store, and instead of taking stuff during the night, what they did is they switched the price tags of things. They put price tags for things like headphones on televisions and televisions on headphones. They didn't take anything. They came in the next morning and they started buying the things before the clerks in the store could figure out all the price tags had been switched, and they got away basically with walking out of the store with lots of merchandise at extremely discounted price. And I share that story with you because sometimes I think that's the way we view life, that there are important things priced cheap and there are cheap things valued high. And I hope you remember that story because as you go through life, embrace those things that sometimes appear as challenges, but they come in important moments, important life lessons, and they teach you important values. So I just encourage you, don't run from this place. You may go to school somewhere else, you may get a job somewhere else, you may live somewhere else, but when you leave here today, remember what you learned here, not just in school, but what this community represents. It's an enormously important lesson. Just a few days ago, 48 hours ago, I was standing on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, one of the most powerful centers of money and finance, the most powerful center of money and finance in the entire world. As I stood there on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, it's a chaotic place. There's people running around and yelling and screaming and money going up and money going down, all these big screens flying around. And I noticed that the people who work there, who you'd think are these hot shots from Harvard or Yale or someplace, and those are great schools, I said, it seems like there's a lot of just characters here, people with a lot of basic good personality. I said, where do you find such people? And I said this to the president of the exchange, and he said, well, we get some people from those institutions, but let me tell you where we find the rest of these folks. A lot of times we just go to places like really busy delicatessens that are chaotic and stuff is swirling around about them, and we watch how these folks function in chaotic situations, whether they can handle pressure with people yelling at them, whether they can sequence information, and whether they're cool under fire. And they didn't learn that in school. They learn that in life in most cases, and they hire a lot of those kinds of folks because of the quality and character that was instilled in them because of their upbringing. So you look at the governors as another example of this. You look through the history of who gets to be a governor in Minnesota. They tend to come from places like Hibbing, and east side of St. Paul, South Minneapolis, Denison, and South St. Paul. These are places that reflect the nurturing and advancement of people who've learned a lot of good things, I think, in terms of their upbringing and their perspective on life. There's probably a future governor in this class right in front of us, and I want to wish her all the best of luck. I want to just close with a poem that you had the somewhat unique experience of being a high school senior in times of war. And we have a country that a lot of people have laid down a lot of sacrifice and service for the freedoms and liberties and privileges that we've enjoyed. One chapter of that, of course, was the Civil War. And this was a poem where it was written, a simple prayer and poem written by a Civil War soldier. It was found in his things after he died on the battlefield. And it said this, and I quote it: I asked for the strength that I might achieve. I was made weak that I might learn to be humble. I asked for health and strength that I might do greater things. I was given infirmity so I could do better things. I asked for riches that I might be happy. I was given poverty so that I could be wise. I asked for power that I might have the praise of other people. I was given weakness that I might feel the need of God. I asked for all these things that I might enjoy life. I was given life that I might enjoy all things. I got nothing I asked for, but everything I hoped for. Almost despite myself, my unspoken prayers were answered. I, among all people, are most richly blessed. As you strive for success in the winner's circle, and I hope you achieve it often, and I wish you well, you should pause and reflect and soak up and celebrate those achievements, those accomplishments, and those great moments in life. But I also want to leave you with one last thought. When those challenges come, when those hurdles get put up in front of you, there is a lesson and an ethic and a value you were taught here in South St. Paul. It's about grit. It's about hard work. It's about standing up for yourself. It's about strength. It's about spirit of this community. It's about your upbringing. It's about the Packer roots, the Packer tradition, the people who established this town and what that represents. Don't you ever let anyone tell you that you can't do something. Don't you ever feel that because you might not have all the advantages in life that you can't achieve whatever your dreams may be. You can. You've got the tools, the training, the education, the equipment, and the background to do it. Secretariat was the greatest racehorse that ever lived. Triple Crown winner. He buried everybody he ran against, in some cases by many, many lengths or distances in the race. It wasn't too long ago that Secretariat died, and the people who were most interested in trying to figure out why this horse, amongst all horses throughout time, was so extraordinary. And when they did the autopsy on this horse, Secretariat, what they found is that he had a heart that was 3 or 4 times the size of a normal horse. And I'll just tell you, it ain't about money. It's about right here, in terms of who you are, what you stand for, what you want to be, what you want to become. It's about heart. And this town has given you a great launching pad in life, and I just wish you the very, very best of success. Go out there and chase your dreams and get them. Thank you very much.
My life
God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances if they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some foolish heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you I hope you dance.
Thank you, seniors. Nice job. At this time, we would like to make a special presentation on behalf of South St. Paul High School and the class of 2003. 2 years ago, the class of 2003 lost one of their classmates, Tommy Nace. On this special evening, we felt it was important to recognize this loss, but also to acknowledge that Tommy remains with us in our thoughts and in our memories. Tonight, along with the class of 2003, we'd like to remember Tommy by presenting his family with an honorary diploma. We want you to know that for us, Tommy will always be a South St. Paul Packer, class of 2003. Representatives of the Nace family come forward to accept his diploma.
Good evening. And now one of the minutes we've been waiting for is when we call your name as you walk across the stage. And I'm going to ask the audience, graduation is a happy but solemn occasion, and we request the audience to refrain from yelling or making other noises throughout the roll call of the class. Please respect each family's wish to hear their graduate's name being announced. Megan Lynn Weber. Ashley Ann Yunker. Shauna Cecilia Casey. Amanda Louise French. Kathleen Ann Quirk. Samantha Lee Shaw. Patricia Ann McLaughlin. Peter J. LaCourcier. Sharice May Russell. Stefan M. Smilanich. I'm sorry, Smilanich. I'm sorry, Smilanich. Corey Kevin Reckinger. Daniel Paul Main. Bethany Rose Munoz. James B. McMurray. Stacy Marie Klimick. Mark Franklin Osborne Jr. Erin Catherine Quinn. James Thomas Sherman. Carrie Lynn Jeanette Plitzko. Molly Jean Maher. Jessica Diane Smoot. Sarah Marie Law. Neil Allen Veerkamp. Michael Timothy Wallen. Chad James Isaacson. Eric Peter Scar. Cassandra Ann Larder. Katie Marie Lee. Mark R. Masir. Stefan Ivan Molnar. Brian Manahan. Sarah Ann Weber. Noelle Florence Ekwochi. Karen Agatha Schwartz. Jonathan M. Trandom. Jordy P. Oberpriller. Brad Keith Heitzinger. Matthew A. Fox. Jacqueline Ann Ziegar. Emily Elizabeth Nass. Nicole Danielle Paul. Adam P. Bravo. Stephanie Joe Newman. Kurt Matthew Johnson. Megan Christine Haggerty. Kevin George Lindner. Alicia Joy Klein. Michael J. Kreck. Jennifer Marie Karg. Marissa Therese DeLeon. Kate Ann Marion. Lisa L. Lauren Schmidt. Mark Stephen Helverson. Zachary S. Graff. Terry Lynn Brisson. Brandon Christopher Lash. Rachel Christine Boltman. Jennifer Lynn Selbichka. Elena K. Taylor. Lauren Heidi Myers. Amber Lee Gay. Felicia Lee. Marie Jean Lane. Michael Joseph Message. Stella S. Gackstetter. Cassandra Lynn Bruber. Adam Stephen Marshinki. Rebecca Nelson Farrell. John A. Corbel. Melissa C. Heitzinger. Sarah Ann Bowl. Thomas J. Fisher. William John Ludwig. Stephanie Lynn Dokniak. Paul D. Myers. Nicole Danielle Pierce. Allison Bry Chapman. Ashley Ray Alvarado. Christina Ann Quinn. Crystal L. Krenz. Joseph Joshua Etter. Ryan P. Dizelle. Jaquay Brown. Cheyenne Dawn Schultz. Lindsay S. Johnson. Suzanne Janine Guzens. Giancarlo M. Itzi. Curtis Robert Anderson. Ryan Prentice Kelsey. Quinn Michael Doheny. Marlene Guadalupe Carrasco. Christina Marie Garlow. Nicole Marie Bernard. Joshua K. Holtorf. Charles K. Cedarstrom. Georgette Grande Sawyers. Neil Edward Hammerston. Nicholas H. Larson. Andrew John Head. Angela Marie Jung. Nicole Marie Kohler. Adam James Beck. Christina Ann Hansen. Jessica Marie Marshinki. Molly Ann McFadgen. Tim Charles Gullickson. Susan Lynn Block. Melissa Lynn Lash. Nicole Lee Halverson. Ashley Lynn Greenbush. Brent T. Brenhofer. Allison Lee Jansen. Ann M. Brotzler. Matthew A. Thomas. Miriam S. Gurgis. Joshua James Dalkey. Aaron R.W. Birdsell. You're welcome. Thank you. Rochelle Lynn Gregerson. Elise N. Frevel. Stacy Jean Johnson. Amanda S. Burgess. Sarah Nicole Engen. Laura Catherine Mueller. Joseph David Schwartz. Daniel Stephen Eric. Jennifer Lynn Munoz. Monica Marie Fleming. Patrick James Mulcahy. Gregory J. Harris. Elizabeth Marie Lind. Lisa Michelle Erdman. Elizabeth Ann Scray. James Andrew Lee. Rami Samir McHale. Michael Yosre Sawyers. Jenna S. Bauer. Lee H. Freitag. Crystal Marie Kretzner. Megan June Blazer. Ashley Marie Christensen. Jennifer Lynn Engelmeyer. Bobby Joe Lander. Christina Lynn Paul. Cassie Marie Dunn. Heidi Jane Beckstrom. Scott A. Dugan. Erin Margaret Joyce. Amanda Rose Balster. Anthony Joseph Weber. Shannon Rose Murphy. James E. Herbert. Amanda Marie Gallus. Ryan M. Brown. Matthew L. Moody. Amanda K. Anderson. Neil E. Fish. Kyle L. Flack. Shannon Maureen Kane. Amanda Jo Running. Justin C. Smith.
Also known as Bud.
Okay, let's just wait a minute. Sharice A. Broom. Andrew B. Wakefield. David B. Goolsby. Sarah Marie Braun. Jamie Nicole Betterly. Kelly Ray Trisco. Nicholas Francis Wines. Janelle A. Mondry. Joshua A. McCann. Skylar Christopher Gill.
Will Johnson.
Thank you. Ashley E. Conlon. Joshua J. Ellingson. Victoria S. Grinitz. Sarah Marie Piper. Scott Matthew Enright. Jacob A. Darso.
Come on. Oh. I don't get it.
Jenna Denise Stelzner. Jessica Ella Higgins. Ryan Donovan Lusader. Holly Marie Cornell. Michael John Fisher. Vanessa Estelle Lamana. Marina C.F. Lima. Kevin J. Toohey. Heather Lynn Wickless. Susan Jane Meyer. Sarah Ann Kopp. Thomas John Pike. Stephen J. C. Solar. James Donald McNeese, Jr. Elissa Jean Baumgartner. Rebecca S. Brady. Andrea Diane Cedarstrom. Catherine Erin Harmeyer. Brenna Suzanne Cruzel. Ann Ashley Weber. Faith Ann Bentley. Lucas Madison Stamba. Alice Leah Duclos. Jody Ann Bangater. Teresa Ann McGovern. Brian Andrew Nurka. Amanda Lynn Bystrom. Samantha Jane Wilms. Catherine Marie Tanucci. Dustin James Lundgren. Dustin Thomas Labor. I'm gonna miss you. Daniel Patrick Ruddy. Thank you, Daniel. Jessica Lynn Buteau. Michael Lee Schopmuller. Thank you, Michael. Brianna Michelle Eckel. David F. Croney. Michael R. Leonards. Adam Paul Turgeon. Anne Marie Wendell. Melissa Beth Richardson. Stephanie Ann Peters. Samantha Joe Miller. Emily Rose Mueller. Caitlin Jane McClagan. Joel A. Pagachnik. John David Gobb. Matthew Thomas Van Horn. Celia Cruz Mercado. Tisha Maria Schmidt. Megan Nicole McNamara. Amanda Lou Morris. Malia Renee Steppen.
Congratulations to all of our graduates. Now, graduates, will you please stand? I hereby declare that the seniors before us have completed all of their local and state requirements. As a symbol of your achievements and a new beginning, please move your tassel from right to left. I present to you the South St. Paul community, Minnesota's best graduating class of 2003, your South St. Paul Packers.